Good evening and salutations, my Days of Our Lives fans. So, question: why is someone who let me just sit there and try to see if I can frame this question right. Why is someone who isn't a lawyer seems to be outmaneuvering somebody who has practiced law pretty much the majority of their life? I'm as I'm watching these court scenes, not just today, but even when they first started, I'm just like, Bella, you do know what you're doing, right? Because you do realize that this woman's not a lawyer, and she does a lot of things, but she's not a lawyer, and yet you're having a hard time beating her. I can't be the only person who's just sitting there looking at this like there's something missing. Now, it's John's Black turn to testify, but he's thinking about Marlena. And, one of the things that Kristen one of the things that Kristen says to, as far as John's character is, could we even sit there and trust his character? He's speaking highly of Brady, but she's like, when it came to Marlena doing all this, that, and the third, right under your nose, it's like you were the last no. So how could you sit there and judge Brady's character when the court can't even sit there and judge your character? Right then and there, I'm like, Bella, do something. I was like, please do something. Don't get it twisted. For some odd reason, I don't know why, but I wanted Kristen to win. I really did. In all retrospect, it would have been nice if they both would have shared custody. That is the true outcome that I wanted, for them to both share custody, and maybe Rachel can not like Chloe as much. But John had an outburst in court, and later on, Chloe comes to the judge and submits this evidence. The evidence of which I didn't realize what she did. She um, caught on camera Kristen trying to attack Chloe with a letter opener. But when Roman came in there, Roman was like, "Yo, listen, I got some news. I can sit there and testify on his behalf." And he had new evidence, but the judge was like, "No. I already made up my decision." Okay, I mean, this may break the case, but sure. But yet she took Chloe's evidence. One second. Yeah, but yet, she took Chloe's case, even when she was like, "I really shouldn't be talking to you," this, that, and third. Yet she just allowed it. Now, obviously, that was there so that way Roman wouldn't have to tell about Philip being alive. Because at first, Kate didn't even, Kate was like, "Oh, what are you doing?" When Chloe was like, "Could you help testify in Brady's behalf?" To let them know that Brady had nothing to do with Philip's death or disappearance. And Kay was like, I'll think about it. You're what? You're what? You'll think about it? Oh, okay, cool. That's great. So she wasn't happy about that. She left, and Rome was like, "Yo, listen, I will sit there and tell." And this is something that just this whole scene was just a little mind-boggling. So in the beginning, Rome was like, "Yo, listen, I'm gonna go to the courthouse and I'm gonna sit there and tell him that Philip is alive." And Kate was like, "No, don't do that. He's trying to get better and he doesn't want the FBI and, go to jail and stuff like that. He just needs time to get better." Then he's like, "Well, I'll leave it in your hands. If you allow me to, I'll sit there and tell the truth. It's up to you." Just about less than 3 minutes ago, it wasn't her choice. What changed? I don't understand like what changed, but anyway. Also, Kate checked herself out because she was like, "Yo, listen, if this is my last days, I'm not going to spend it in here," even though Roman was against it. Roman's like, "All right, fine." And, you kind of realize, what, listen, at the end of the day, I can't tell her what to do. I can't tell her how to sit there and battle this. He wants her to be in a place where they can help her, but this is her illness, and she gets to decide on how she goes about it. Yeah, John had the outburst in court and told both Brady and Bella that Marlena wasn't looking too good as far as Orpheus poisoning them and everything like that. So they came by to visit. Steve Steve came there to talk. Well, Steve came there to interrogate Orpheus. So they exchanged their little witty banter, which was funny, by the way. And Steve wasn't about the games. He came in there with the pen. He was like, "Yo, listen, if you don't sit there and tell me what I need to know, I'm gonna take you out with this pen." Of course, Orpheus was like, "Yeah, whatever." He wasn't taking him too seriously. He wasn't. And to be honest, by the time Steve had enough and he was ready to attack him, Sean came in and broke it up and stopped it. So I just kind of stood there. I was like, "Well, Steve, I understand that he's angry. He wants answers and stuff like that. I'm like, what are you going to do? You're going to threaten him? This guy has all the cards. This is why, even when he walked in there, I was like, man, this is a really stupid idea because it's not going to go anywhere. And what are you going to do? You're going to kill him? You think you're going to get the antidote or anything like that by killing him, torturing him? Orpheus isn't just a typical guy that could just walk in there and be like, if you don't do something, I'm going to hurt you. Like, no, 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 I'll tell you everything you want to know. Okay? Hell, even with Batman, there's certain people that he can't just sit there and torture or scare to get information out of. So I don't know exactly what you thought you were doing. I don't get that. But also later on in the episode, Kayla was like, the ISA don't know what they're dealing with. So Kate is still roaming around. Apparently, Marlena took a worse hit than Kayla did as far as her immune system. Because I'm sitting there wondering, I'm like, yo, she's walking around. I mean, yeah, she's coughing, sniffling, but she's not laid up in bed like Marlena is. And I'm just like, y'all all took the same dose at the same time. So is there a particular reason why Kate is just walking around and Kayla is just kind of doing business as usual? And granted, they're all feeling the effects, but they're not all feeling it in the same way. So I don't know. Maybe it has a lot to do with their age and their health and everything. So, and again, of course, this story reminds me of the water pathogen on General Hospital. One of my favorite. Um, I don't want to sit there and say crossovers, but more just like events that GH has done since the um MetroCard incident with again Jerry Jacks. So this is bringing me back, which is good saga. Oh yeah, I forgot to sit there and say. So yeah, Brady won the custody hearing, and Kristen kept looking at Chloe side eye like, "Yo, what did you do? What did you just hanging around and skulking around the courtroom or whatever, or the court hall." He's like, "Yo, what did you tell that judge? What did you do?" So Kristen is going to go after Chloe even harder. And of course, at one point, Chloe confronted Kristen as far as, "Oh, you sent your brother to sit there and try to, seduce me or whatever, and it didn't work and yada yada yada." But I don't know. Something just felt. I mean, here's the thing. In the grand scheme of it, Kristen has done some really horrible things. So when Brady won and Kristen left, they had this kind of happy music, but something just didn't feel right. Something just didn't feel right. And granted, Kristen lost in a lot of ways. Like, yeah, we know that Kristen loves Rachel and everything like that, but when Brady was like, Rachel, you're not seeing her as a daughter, you're not seeing her as a human being, you're seeing her as a possession. You know, to get your end game, get Brady back. Because even in the beginning, when she went to sit there and visit Rachel, this wasn't about just visiting Rachel. This is about visiting Rachel and trying to get back with Brady. oh, let me give you this locket that has all three of us, that, we're just one big, happy, big, perfect family, you know? So, even it felt wrong in a sense that Kristen lost, you know? Felt wrong because for some odd reason I wanted Kristen to have full custody. It was just a little gut feeling inside. But then I keep looking at the facts, and that no matter how much I love Kristen, she. It's not that she's incapable of taking care of Rachel or doing damage mentally, whatever. It's just that she went in that courtroom, with the most foulest of intentions. Even just having Rachel back in her life, she went in there with very foul intentions. She didn't go in there to try to get her back to see her just to see her. No, this is about, oh, getting back together with Brady. Oh, I'm gonna sit there and win because I don't want Chloe to be around my daughter. I want to sit there and win and like she's a possession. So I know in the beginning I was sitting there saying like, man, I really wanted Kristen to win, but I was like, as I'm sitting there talking about it, I'm like, oof. And that's exactly why she shouldn't have won. Because of those reasons. Much as I love Kristen, certain times I can't get on board with certain people's actions. And if you've been watching Days and like you've been watching my GH, you know that Sonny's my guy, and I can't always sit there and co-sign the things that he does. Oh, I was starting off with a theory, well, not a theory, but just wasn't even a theory. It pretty much was just, you know, Brady won regardless of Roman testifying. Because let's be honest, we don't. Well, I don't know what the actor that plays Philip is doing, and I don't know if we're gonna see him come back. I mean, like Chloe said, he's been gone for like a year and change. So it wouldn't have really made a lot of sense for Roman to just enter that into evidence, and then Chloe being like, "Oh well, let's bring back the Salem. Let's do this, that, and the third." Because if we're not going to get the original actor to come back, you know, Days have been really. It seems like they've been really good as far as getting some people to come back. Even Megan Halfway. I don't know if that's the actual character's name or whatever, or the actress' real life name, but she was on the show for a while. So the fact that they got her to come back so long ago is impressive as hell. You know, it's impressive as hell. But if they can't get Philip to come back yet, then maybe it would have been, I understood why they did what they did as far as the judge being like, nope, I already made up my mind. But man, I think this can break the game. No, I already made up my mind. But it makes sense from a show standpoint. I feel like that's pretty much about it. So with that being said, I'm gonna go. Before I go, I'm gonna sit there and try to do a live stream today. Um, I want to try to shoot for 6, but it may be 6:30. It depends on how fast this laptop charges up to 100. Because I always want to start off with 100. Depending on how long the stream is gonna go. So we're gonna try to shoot for 6, but if I don't come on necessarily at 6, like between 6 and 6:10, then it's gonna be 6:30. But I don't know. I will keep people posted in the community tab, so just look out for that. With that being said, I'm gonna go. I want to thank you for watching. Be safe, and I'll see you in the next video.